Welcome to the Art of Love podcast. My name is Tamar Gale, and I am here to guide you into deeper, more expansive love, freedom, and pleasure. A deep inner journey of self-discovery. Here, I will cover all types of topics pertaining to love, including self-love and self-care, relationships, tantra, intimacy, sex, all the way to Christ consciousness, and Pachamama, just to name a few broad topics. My mission is to support you in being true to yourself, reconnecting the fragmented pieces and aspects of yourself so that you can find and use your own inner fire, Shakti power, and voice. It is time to break down the old systems that we have been taught to live by. I would love to see you align with your personal truth and nature instead of succumbing to others' views of how you should be, trying to fit inside of the box in order to be accepted, and instead standing in your power and loving all that you are, accessing a new way of being in the world. So welcome to the Art of Love, and today I'm with Sally Boyd, activated astrologist. She focuses on intuitive prescriptive astrology and on people going through spiritual awakenings and any type of relationship, family and group team building for communication skills, and so much more. And I love astrology, and I've been following astrology, although I don't know anything about it, for many, many years. And knowing that Sally focuses on love, spiritual awakenings, and relationships, I was really just drawn to call her on for this podcast call and kind of just find out more information on everything that she does. So, Sally, what interested you in starting this path on astrology?
Well, I have always been, first of all, my son is in the 11th house, and the 11th house rules astrology. So the sun is our life force, and that is who we are called to be in this world. So I don't know, what's your sun sign? Do you know?
Scorpio.
Scorpio, so you're a Scorpio. Ooh, you're intense.
I am. My rising is Leo, so it scares most people.
and I'm a Leo in the 11th house, so that's when we like each other. I have lots to talk about.
Awesome.
So when your son, your life force, you're called to do something, and the stars have always called me. And I can remember when I was a little girl, we lived out in the country, way out in the country, and there wasn't any light pollution. I was raised here in Texas, and we had horses there on the property. And I didn't have a horse of my own, but we boarded horses. And I can remember laying on the back of these horses and looking up at the stars. And that was something that my dad would constantly teach me, like, where's the Big Dipper? Where's the Little Dipper? That sort of thing. So it came just something that I was just always in love with. Then I was fascinated by all the horoscopes, even as a little kid, in the backs of the magazines. And I would be able to tell, by the time I was, 10 or 11, I was telling kids, oh, well, you've got to be a Virgo. Oh, well, you must be a Cancer. Oh, well, you can't, she's so bossy. She must be a Capricorn. So, I started, buying books and just kind of learned on my own. I was self-taught, never had a teacher, but kind of did parlor tricks and made a little extra money here and there going through college, and had some kind of learned my way through it, navigated my way just enough to get myself in true trouble, but it was fun. I could fake my way through it. And then never really did a lot of self-examination, serious diving into my own chart until much later in life. In fact, rather recently, when I had one of many spiritual awakenings myself, which was quite fabulous at the end of it, but pretty traumatic as it's going on. As it was going on, I realized then that this, I had some really good teachers. I really thought I was having a brain tumor or early onset dementia or something like that. It turned out I was perfectly healthy. And I found myself some good astrology mentors and realized I was going through some difficult transits, or transforming transits, I should say, because it's all for us. And it's all meant to help us grow. Mm-hmm. And no matter how scary it is at the time, it passes, and it's all for our benefit. And so I realized that, a lot of people probably go through these things, and they think that they're going absolutely crazy, and they go to pills and, maybe even end their lives because, it's very hard to comprehend if you're not prepared. And I felt like it was God was really calling me to help people to get the word out to the masses that, God created this, everything in the world, source, God, whatever you use, whatever word you use, energy, he created all of this. It's his big computer in the sky to help us grow, to help us become closer to him. Mm-hmm. And to evolve. And that's why I decided that, this was something that I had to do. This was my sole purpose, in life.
Yeah. And I really love that you touched on that, because I read that on your website, that you talked about how God has a plan and how all this is set up for us. And I can't remember the words you used exactly. I was just trying to find them, but that was really important for me, because I know with the background that I have, that I was grown up with, which is very religious, doesn't always see it that way. And although I see it that way, and I just, I saw that very young in life. And I'm very grateful for that. But I know that a lot of conversations that I've had with family or whatever, they haven't always seen it that way. And God does have a plan, like it was created. We were born at a specific time in a specific place for a reason. And we have that plan for our life. And so I'm so happy that you touched on that. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yes. So I talk a lot about being raised here in the Bible Belt. And so you were too?
I was too. Yep.
So I was raised Methodist, and then so I accepted Christ when I was 14 years old, and, where they just put a little water on your forehead. And I remember being in young life, and, having this sense of euphoria, dancing and singing and really having a honeymoon with my relationship with Christ, and I know that was my first spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. I know it was, but then, you kind of fall asleep. Yeah. And then again, like in my 20s, I kind of came more into a metaphysical state. I was in Los Angeles. I was a professional singer and actress for many years. And, I was in more of I was doing a lot of hiking. I was in nature. I was more in a metaphysical awakening at that point. And I can remember that spiritual awakening and really being very close to God in a different way.
Yeah.
And then when I was 40, I actually went back to church. We went to a Baptist church with oh my gosh, the Methodist would have said Baptist, and the Baptist would have said Methodist. And I actually got submerged, and I, was born again. And that was my next spiritual awakening, and then I fell asleep again. And so this spiritual awakening that I had was completely different. It was not at all like that. But one common thread through everything but the metaphysical was that, they're in traditional Christian religion. I really don't feel that Judaism is as much like this. But in Christian religion, they are really, for the most part, very negative about astrology, when in fact there's nothing that says that astrology is not good.
Yeah.
In fact, the three wise men the Magi were astrologers.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah,
I read your blog post about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's many other references to the stars and how they're there for our benefit, and we should follow them. And so, he put it all there for us. It's all there for us.
Yeah.
And he put it there with love. Yeah. Which I love. I love the whole concept of your podcast. So thank you for being in service.
Thank you for that. Yeah, really. My first awakening that I don't know if it was my first, but the one that I deeply felt that I remember, I was probably 17 or 18. And I had already had this feeling that for me, something else was different. I think I was working on a farm every summer growing up. And I came home and caught the sunset right in front of me. And the sunsets where I grew up were just gorgeous because we have a lot of flat land. And it was in that moment that I actually just stopped my car and watched it, because everything changed for me in that moment. And I realized that what it was is that God is in everything. He's in the trees, he's in the flowers, he's in the earth, that God is in everything. He created everything. And as a side note, I just want to add in that as I use the word God, usually I use the word spirit or divine. So whatever word that resonates with you, whatever that may be, add that in here when I say the word God, because really that's what we're speaking about. Oneness in all things. This huge misunderstanding is actually this oneness, this unity consciousness. Everything is, and the Native Americans had it right. So,
yes.
It's just like, yes, I knew it. I knew that there was something so much more than what I was being told.
That's right.
It's so much more beautiful.
We are all energy, and we're all, I say he, but we're all, we're all created in oneness, so.
And I usually go with spirit. I mean, it's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. And it was probably, speaking from an astrology standpoint, I really have found that planetary transits going through your natal chart are usually responsible for something, some kind of energy shift that gives you that opportunity, whether it's an eclipse, whether it is whether it's a transit of Pluto going over your midheaven or your ascendant, or who knows what it is, whatever, a north node issue, whatever your deal is, whatever your particular is, because each one of us, there's hardly any two. You'd have to be born at the exact same place at the exact same time on top of each other. Yeah. To have the exact same, the exact same moment to have the exact same chart. Right. So, and then there'd still be difference because you've got all kinds of ancestral background going on. But there's some kind of transit that's going through that is pushing you to go into these types of transforming events. And so that's what is going on right now with the entire planet. That's why the planet's waking up.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible. We have so many incredible things going on right now. We've got Uranus in Taurus. We haven't had that since in the 1930s, which was during, oh my gosh, that was during the Second World War. We had the Hitler, and we had the creation of the atom bomb, and the creation of the radar, and we had the Great Depression over here and the Dust Bowl, and we've had that going on. Neptune which is our spiritual planet, very feminine, spiritual, dreamy planet. It's at home in Pisces, and it has not been there since it was discovered. That's probably a great deal of it. Got Neptune and got Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn. Pluto is a very slow moving planet. It takes anywhere from 25 years to 16 to 25 years to move through a house. Yeah. So it's been a long time since it's been in Capricorn, which is the planet of really serious working work. And Saturn has not been there for 29 years. Yeah. So it's at home there. And Jupiter hasn't been in Sagittarius. It's home since in 12 years. And that's the planet of big expansion and good luck and all kinds of things. So that's really, all of these alignments are what's making everyone wake up, and it's really been going on since, probably 2012.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I've been saying that to people for a couple years now. And a lot of people just looked at me like I was crazy, but I was like, okay, whatever. Right. You'll either experience it or you won't.
Yeah. But you'll very least they're going to experience it with the other people around them.
Yeah.
You can't hardly miss it.
No.
You can't hardly miss it. The light is coming in for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is.
And very strongly. I feel like there's such a huge shift, and that you're seeing the difference between people who are still feeling that fear, and then the people that are feeling, this shift of consciousness, of this awakening and coming back into a place of unity, of oneness, of love. And I've been feeling a huge shift. And so, that's why I kind of want to start this podcast.
How old are you?
39.
Oh, well, you're going through your Uranus opposition.
Oh, yeah.
And you just went through your second Saturn return.
Wow.
Oh, no, your second. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say, no, not your second Saturn return. I'm about to go through my second Saturn return. You just went through or are feeling the last part of your Saturn opposition. Okay. So this is the reason why you are doing this. This is the reason why you are feeling this so intensely. This is what happens. Everyone in your age bracket is going through exactly what you're going through. They may be feeling it in a completely different part of their life, because they're, they have things in different. They have planets in different houses. But these archetypal planets like Uranus and Saturn, that's what they do. They're the timekeepers.
Wow.
To make this change and wake up.
So it makes sense of why I've been feeling this. So what age does that start?
Well, Saturn, your first Saturn return starts at you start feeling it maybe at the end of 27.
Okay.
And you completed about 30, 31.
Okay.
So you're hitting it about 29 years old.
Okay.
So there's always something major that happens. There's a big flip-flop. Boom to boom. Like what happened? Like you're living life. Maybe you're a party girl and you're going, or maybe you're going to college and, or maybe you get married, maybe you have been married, maybe you get divorced, maybe you had a baby, maybe who knows what happens? I don't know what happens to you. Maybe you have a horrible car accident. Maybe somebody dies. I don't know what your situation is, but something happened.
Okay. 29. I was
what year were you born?
79.
79. Okay. So that's the year I graduated. And you're such a baby. Okay. 2000. This would have been about 2007, 2008.
Yeah. Yeah. 2008 was a big year. I actually moved to Hawaii for a few months to kind of come back to myself and try to start doing some healing work. Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to stay. For sure. That was a great moment. Yeah.
A lot of times it's accompanied with a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
But when you come out of it, there's usually something traumatic that kind of happens. You're living your life one way, something kind of traumatic happens, and then it pushes you to something great. And then when you come out of it, you're in another place and you're like, wow, okay, that was, and then you live life. Okay. And then another 14 years happens. Okay. So 2021, would be your second Saturn return, I guess. Yeah, that would be your second Saturn. No, your second, not second Saturn return. Your Saturn opposition when you're 42. Yeah, Saturn opposition. But you'll be feeling it now. But you're going through your Uranus opposition, and when that happens, that's like wake up, break out all the old, because Uranus likes to shake the shit out of stuff.
I've always been shaking everything.
Yes. It's electrifying.
Yes.
It is. I mean, you wake up, and then we've got Neptune and Pisces for the first time since it's been discovered. And then of course, you've got Capricorn and Pluto, and that hasn't happened forever, so that's big stuff. There's big stuff happening all over the planet. So that's why I'm kind of doing this. But you specifically are going through your Uranus opposition.
That makes so much sense. And Venus, my Venus is in Scorpio. So that was in retrograde just recently. Oh my gosh. Like
you felt that.
There was a lot going on.
You felt that. You sure felt that for sure.
Yeah.
I bet that was a good one to let go of.
Oh, it was. There was a lot of transitionings happened during that period, for sure. Looking at everything and just seeing what didn't work in my life anymore, what didn't support my highest self, my growth any longer, in all areas of my life, relationships and work. And it was a big turning point.
Good for you that you knew that you have that awareness.
Yeah.
Because that's what Uranus wants you to do. Okay. Uranus forces you to break away what doesn't work so it can reinvent something new that's better.
And it's funny that we talk about 2021 because I was just doing my 7-year, manifesting, my 7-year plan. Mm-hmm. And I was just finishing 2021 when you messaged me.
Really good. There you go.
I got 19, 20, 21.
There you go. Saturn runs in a 7-year cycle. Mm-hmm. That's why they call it the 7-year itch.
Yeah. Okay.
You've ever heard that?
And it's starting this year?
Well,
it's for everybody. Every 7, it's individual.
It's 7 years. Yeah. Every 7 years. So your first one you're going to feel is going to be about 7 years old. Second one you're going to feel is going to be about 14 years old. Yeah. Third one you're going to feel is going to be about 21 years old, and then you're going to feel it about 28 years old. I mean, that's just kind of how it happens. So you can kind of figure that. I'm going to feel it when I'm about 28. It's not always exact that way because, the planets retrograde and they come back around, and they're retrograde and they come back around. But it takes Saturn 28, almost 29 years to orbit.
Wow. Okay.
Come back around to itself.
It all makes sense. If I think about every 7 years of my life, there's been almost every time there's been major shifts. Mm-hmm. I think I might be doing a little bit early this time, but I can imagine.
That's the Uranus. That's the Uranus. And who else knows what else is going on, you know? So if you think about Saturn is the teacher. It's the great teacher, you know? It wants us to learn lessons. It's kind of a restrictive.
Yeah.
You know, it's a malefic planet. So it wants us to, it's the high school principal. So if you're doing good, you know, if you're doing your work, if you're coming to class on time, if you're being a good girl, you know, then you get a hall pass. You know, you might even get out of class a little early. But if you're talking too much in class, you made a bad grade, you know, you're going to get called into the principal's office. Okay. So you're going to get going to get some discipline on that. And because it really wants us to achieve. It wants us to achieve and to grow and to do better.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. I love that. Oh, well, thank you for that. I'm really happy to know that, because it's always wonderful to know that what I'm feeling is in alignment with what is happening, like that I'm actually aware of that. And, you know, so I know that I'm on track and feeling what I need to feel.
Well, yeah, it's confirmation that you're not going nuts. Or that I am on the right track, or that, oh yeah, okay, it's like, just like, you just, the 2021, you're planning out your thing. Okay. We just talked about 2021, that synchronicity.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I love synchronicity is always good.
Yes.
Good sign.
Oh my gosh. And now that you say that, I've been seeing 1221 a lot lately. So you're on it.
No, you're on it.
I'm going to have to write that down.
You're on it, my friend. I haven't been seeing 221.
2021 is going to be an amazing year. I feel it.
That's great. That's great. Yay for you. When did you start your podcast?
It's not that. I just released my third.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's new. I wanted to start it mid-December, but with all the transitioning and all the things that was happening, and during Mercury retrograde, my computer broke, my phone broke, like everything. I said, okay, I'm obviously just meant to relax during the holidays and start with the new year. So I put it off until recently.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. I did the same thing with this summit. I use this thing called, one of the astrologers on my summit. It's called the Good Timing Guide. It's wonderful. You can get this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can download it on your computer. Actually, she's given 2 months free on my summit. But it's color coded and it's super easy. Like, it's so easy. It's so idiot proof. It's like, it's like this. So you can, it tells you like these little lines, like when to start, when to go, when not to do
That's amazing.
Yeah. Like don't start anything, but you can make money spend money on this day. It's like idiot proof. Moon side, moon phases, all that stuff. I don't even have to think about it.
Who sells that book?
The astrologer that does it, her name is Madeline C. Gerwick. Madeline C. Gerwick. And I think the download on it's like $19 or something. Yeah. But she's going to be giving away 2 months free if you want to try it on my summit. So sign up for my summit. You can get a couple of months to see how it works for you. Okay. But I don't do anything major until I look at the book anymore, because I don't start a major project. Why do that? And I'm an astrologer, so I stay away from Mercury retrograde, but you can't stop your entire life for it,
Yeah.
But she factors in so many other things that are even over my head as an astrologer. I'm more of a personal astrologer. I'm more of a intuitive love kind of astrologer. She's all about business, So,
wow. I'm going to have to get that book.
yeah. She's good. She's really good. She's all about business and timing,
Perfect.
So that's an art.
Yes, that is. Yeah. I was just thinking about that. I don't know if it was yesterday or today while I was focusing on some of the things that I want to create. Yeah. And how timing is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, definitely.
Sally and I went on to continue our conversation about the awakening and the planetary shifts. So I felt like that was a really important topic to go ahead and add into this podcast. So here is the next part of our conversation.
I've noticed that in my work, I have more people coming to me saying that they have met their twin flame, that they're trying to get with their twin flame.
Yeah.
And I had really never experienced that so much as I have now.
Okay.
So that I think is very interesting.
It seems to have grown. I've just noticed it over maybe the past year and a half. Maybe it's been going on longer than that, but I've really noticed a shift and seeing more about it probably in the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Year to year.
So I don't know I don't know. You're in the love business. I'm in the astrology business. Do you think it's a buzzword, or do you think it's?
I really don't know. For me, there's definitely that relationship. There are definitely those twin flames, but I'm not really sure if that. I mean, I'm not really clear on that. If that's the person you're supposed to be with, or if that's the people that come in to teach you and to help you grow immensely. I know that for sure, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. I do believe in sacred union and sacred relationships, but I've just been kind of trying to feel that out myself about the twin flame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I have discovered is that people that believe that they're in a twin flame relationship, it seems that they have the hardest time making it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they really, it doesn't come easy to them. Their relationships never come easy. It seems like there's something constantly pulling them apart, constantly, like the universe is just working against them. And I heard someone say that it's because if everyone lived in perfect harmony and perfect love in that perfect space, if everyone had that perfect union, then that's why there's always these dark forces trying to pull it apart, because there would be no strife in this world.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, but I don't really know. I don't know that much about it. I can't really make in a chart. I've tried to draw some sort of like similarities. I know that there are. I do synastry charts, and I can definitely tell when people are meant to be together. And there's definitely a karmic reason when they're meant to be together.
Yes.
I recently did a chart just 2 or 3 days ago, and both people had grand crosses. And that's just so rare. That to have a grand cross is rare anyway, but to have 2 people that just got married and they both have a grand cross that's just so crazy.
Is that as a grand cross like a big karmic
a grand cross would be, there's a cardinal grand cross, a fixed grand cross, and a mutable grand cross. And it's when you have planets that are at 90 degrees, each in a different mode in a different element. Okay? So a cardinal grand cross would be Aries, Cancer, Capricorn. I'm missing one. Aries, Capricorn, and Libra.
Okay.
And Capricorn. Okay, so those are the cardinal. That's air, water. Fire, water, air, and earth. Right. So those are all the initiator planets. So they've got these hard angles. So these are people that they're going to be the first, and they're going to be the ones that are going to win, and they're going to set the standard. My God, you know what I mean? And then there's a fixed grain cross. They're going to be the ones that are going to be stubborn, and they're not, so it's kind of, those are kind of hard ways to, they're kind of hard lives to live,
Mm.
And then there's a mutable. Those are the ones that go with the flow. They may be a little bit more indecisive about life, they may analyze themselves into paralysis. So anyway, that's a little too astrology-ish, but anyway, that's it. When I looked at them, I thought, 2 people getting married with grand crosses. maybe this is what a twin flame, an actual twin flame looks like. I don't know.
May not be easy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's great too. I mean, I'm just fascinated by this stuff. And, so I think it's great to just to see where you are in relationship, or, to anybody compared to, what the astrology says, or, I would say that I was probably always fascinated by this. And you shared that earlier, that fascination when you were so young. And I think I was very young. And as soon as I had my driver's license, I was off to these fairs that did astrology and readings. And
yeah. So you'd probably make a great astrologer. Do you have anything in your 11th house?
I don't know. I'll have to look. I have my chart somewhere. I'll have to look.
Yeah. You'll have to send me your birth date. I'll do your chart.
Okay, I will.
Your birthday. Yeah.
And if anybody wants to do a reading with you, like, where can they find out more about that? Because that's just fascinating. And I think that it's really fascinating to know where you are in relationship and where you are in your chart, like so many of us are going through spiritual awakenings.
Yes.
Mine have never been, I've been through difficulties, but never, so difficult as I know that some people that I've met have. If you're going through something like that, it's great to have that guidance, and it's great to know that, you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll just give you an example. Mm-hmm. My sister, who has passed away now, she was 10 years older than me. She, I told you were going through your Uranus opposition. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you're about 40 years old, that's what happens. Okay. Sorry, I hope I wasn't. It's okay that I told your age, wasn't it?
Of course.
You don't look like you're 40, that's for sure. But anyway, you start feeling it a little bit before, and you can go a little bit later, it takes a while because Uranus moves very slow. Mm. But she had Uranus at her midheaven point. She was a Pisces at her midheaven point. Her sun was at her midheaven point. And I remember when she was 40 years old, she had a nervous breakdown. Mm. Yeah. She said she had a nervous breakdown. She was driving back and forth to work, and she just kind of went off the charts. And she started saying things to me like, do you hear clicking in your head? Because Uranus is very electric. It sends electrical impulses. So it really is very energetic. Okay. It's very energetic. very powerful. Uranus and Pluto. I mean, they're all powerful. They're all powerful. But it's breaking up. It's, so if you can imagine that being opposite, you having this opposition with your sun and your Uranus at your midheaven point, at, your highest point in your chart, that is so spiritual, right? And after this lasted quite some time. And it almost broke up her marriage. Yeah. She quit her job. It really almost destroyed her life. And really, at that time, I was just like, she's gone crazy. I don't know what's wrong with her. She disappeared off the face of the earth. She was very, very, very paranoid. She was afraid. And after that whole thing, I didn't realize this, but my sister was very intuitive. I didn't realize it, but she was very intuitive, and she knew that she was going to die. Mm. She knew she was going to die. I know she did.
Wow. How old was she when she passed away?
She passed away in 2014.
Okay.
She knew she was going to die early. She didn't know she was going to die back then, but she knew she was going to die early because she said it to me several times.
Okay. Wow.
She knew she wasn't going to live to be old. And she also had a yod that pointed right to her midheaven point, right to that place. And I often wonder, a yod is the finger of God, and it's some time appointed thing. It's like God is telling you, you have a time specific appointment. You can choose to take this or not. And I often wonder, if she chose that, if that was it, or what. I wish I would have been more. I wish I would have known more to have helped her at that time. But that was part of my decision in getting into this also.
Okay.
Because people like that, a lot of marriages break up at this time. Because people don't understand what's going on. And it's hard to decide, is this good for me? Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? Men start kind of going crazy. They definitely this is the midlife crisis. So, it really is. So, if it's not serving you, that's great, but also give it some time, because you may also, just for your listeners out there, you may also be throwing away something that has a lot of value that if you just stick with it a little bit longer, it'll turn into something fabulous. It'll transform itself. It depends on what your transits are. So if you're having any of those kinds of issues, I can help you. And any good astrologer can help you. It's not like I'm the only one out there. There are lots of great astrologers out there. And just find one that you can connect with. You can find me at activatedastrology.com. And if you want to find out if you're compatible with someone, or I'll tell you what, another thing that is really very valuable with synastry work is about the time that your kids start going through puberty, and you want to find out what they're about. And the kids start getting, you start really worrying about their psyche. That is a really good time to have their chart done with you, particularly mothers and daughters. I find that is really super important to do that. I think that's or dads and sons, that don't get along. Any parent that is not getting along, or if you're not clicking with your kid, or you don't understand what's going on with them, find out what their elements are. Find it, if they can't stop crying, and they say they can't stop crying, it's probably because they've got so much water. They need to be grounded or something. So it may be a very easy fix, and, pills are not always the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. And I wish that my parents would have done that and been open to do that for me, because that probably would have really helped both of us. and our relationship during that time, which was very, very stressful for many years, I think, for them and for myself, I'm sure. But yeah, I think that's a great tool,
It is.
Yeah, for our relationships in the family.
Yeah. Even just seeing something on a piece of paper, I do most of my readings on Zoom. So you have them on recording, you have them on a recording, and, you get to look at the chart, then you have the recording of it, but you get to see, okay, this is the ego. This is the ego. This is the personality. This is their life force. This is who they're brought into the world to be. But this over here, this is their soul, and this is their personality traits. And this is what they're rising up to be in this world, And then this is their emotional body. This is what stresses them out and why it stresses them out. And this is how they can get out of it, This is how you can help this child get out of that stressful place, And a lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I find things in charts that are like sexual abuse and things like that, abusive situations. So, be prepared if you think that has gone on, and if you wonder if that has gone on, or if you wonder if that will go on in your household, be prepared, because it's very accurate.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I can see how something like this could, well, if done by parents with the child, let's just say for the child, to help ground the child, how powerful that is as a child and as a family to grow up and know at that point, as you're going through puberty, like what you're here for, how to work with your own energy, how to ground yourself, what you're meant to do in the world. That's just, I wish I'd known that.
Oh yeah. If you think about it, like, you have this Aries baby, it's got a lot of Aries in it, or a lot of fire in this child. And this child just will not calm down. But it's going to run, bouncing off the walls, can't pay attention, just won't sit still, can't sit still in class. He's constantly getting in trouble because he's got ants in his pants, right? Well, he's got so much fire in him. He's not ADD. He's not a bad kid. Yeah. He just needs more physical. He just needs a physical outlet. He needs more physical energy. On the opposite side of that, we have a kid that wants to stay in their room, and they want to read, and they want to, maybe they want to game a lot, they want to just like sleep a lot, very likely that's a Pisces, some type of Scorpio, maybe even a Cancer baby, it's a water baby most likely. If you've got one that talks a lot and can't be quiet in class and can't focus and has to jump around and talk and is very curious and gossipy and and gets in trouble a lot at school for talking too much, got a lot of air in that kid.
Yeah.
If you've got one that that probably eats a lot, very sensitive, and just very practical and very serious about everything, and never really wants to do what all the other kids are doing, wants to go and do something else that's very practical and is very serious kid, that's going to be a kid that's going to have a lot of earth. And if you're lucky, if you're one of those lucky ones, you got one that's really balanced. But if you don't, there's ways to bring that in.
There's the elements as well, and how to work with the elements, which is
yeah. Let those water babies go dig in the dirt. Let the fire kids, let those fire babies go and run till you can't see them, and drive a car behind them, let them run down the road. So all of that stuff is super helpful for it. Try astrology before you try pills or or medication or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With the other, too, as well. So it's just another, it's a great tool in your box, and it should be the first thing that you try.
Great point.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with?
Just try to stay in a high heart place. And I'm so happy for you and your new endeavor. Thank you. Spread the love. Blessings and stars.
Love it. Thank you so much for being on here today. And everyone can connect with Sally at activatedastrology.com. And I definitely recommend that. I've had just a fabulous conversation with you today.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Sally. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us for The Art of Love. And I look forward to connecting with you again next Wednesday. May we go out into the rest of this week embodying more love for ourselves, love for others, and love for Pachamama, Mother Earth. So love to each and every one of you, and see you next week.